There is a national trend. Energy experts believe that electricity rates in some parts of the country could go up by as much as 70% of the summer, this summer, I should say, just as we're trying to keep ourselves cool. So let's go deeper with energy broker St. Clair Newbern. Good to have you here on Portland's Afternoon News, St. Clair.
Thanks for having me.
We often hear energy companies say that these rate hikes are inevitable. Do you agree?
I do agree that it's impossible to avoid rate increases at this time. Of course, in Oregon, you guys have a lot of hydroelectric, so you're much more insulated than the markets that are more dependent on natural gas. But yes, you are exposed to natural gas, and that's really run up a lot. So I'd say it's justified.
Generally speaking, are we seeing these increases because the U.S. power grid is getting old and it's in need of updating?
There are scenarios where operators are running the grid more conservatively, which means they're procuring more reserve margins, which drives the cost of the grid up. That's a particular issue they have in Texas. In Oregon, you guys really have it pretty good, though. Honestly, the amount of hydroelectric, you've got like over 50% renewable. So about 50% hydroelectric and then other renewable assets. So your exposure to natural gas is much less. And as far as the grid, we definitely have an aging grid in America, and it needs upgrades all over the place.
Here on Portland's Afternoon News, we are talking to energy broker St. Clair Newbern IV. St. Clair, let's talk about ways that we as customers can lower our bill. If these rate increases are inevitable, what can we do? What kind of recommendations do you have?
Okay, so both businesses and residential consumers can do a couple of things that are really easy. One of the first things you can do is install a programmable thermostat that costs about $100. That can often reduce your consumption by 20 to 30%. Another thing is to make sure that you don't have any cracks or gaps in your windows and doors. That's another easy thing that often people overlook. And the last thing for businesses that can enter into long-term hedges, obviously that's an important thing. That's for businesses that are in deregulated markets. So that doesn't really apply to Oregon, but if you've got businesses in other markets, that would be the last thing I'd mention.
All right. Any other words of wisdom for us, tips you can give us that might help us get through the summer?
One thing I didn't mention is LED light bulbs. That's one other thing I'd add to the list. On the list of easy stuff that anybody can do, looking into solar and other energy efficiency projects require more capital up front, and you have to earn that money back over time. But the stuff I mentioned are things you can do with little to no cost and should pay back very quickly.
All right, St. Clair, thanks for helping us out today here on Portland's Afternoon News.
Thank you.